This will be good. Guys, I've got a massive Amurol 1990s candy haul inside, or bubblegum. On top are some miscellaneous that we're going to get through first. But this is, actually I made a little power move. I bought a dealer lot of 90s Amurol. But let's get in here first and see these things. This is all going to be old novelty candy. That's what I collect. First thing out of the gate, let's get in here. Comes in this beautiful till mailer. Okay, here it is. Now this seller has a bunch of these for sale. These are extremely rare. She has a whole box of them is what it is. And so I had to pick up my example. I was just talking about this. Now and Later is one of the rarest candy lines to collect because they were built or made to literally be ripped open. To find a sealed one, especially in this condition, is just about unheard of. Luckily, she has a whole box and she's selling them for about $30 a piece. Good for her. Wow, she's so lucky to have this, and I'm lucky to have one. Again, I forgot to grab my Now and Laters. I do have some other ones. I've shown them a couple of times in the past, but I need to show you guys the whole money shot. But anyway, very cool to have that. That thing is so mint. Now, this is also a Phoenix branded one. So this is one of the early ones. So this would have probably honestly be around the mid 80s. So that's a good one to have. Wow. Plus it's a full size Now and Later. Often, well not often because they're extremely rare, but when you do sometimes see these, you usually get the half size. You get the little ones. All right. So that's a good start. This is another straggler that I want to get through. And we're going to get into this, guys, heavy. This has to be, or it might say on here, it's got to be 8 pounds. Anyway, let's get into this next. This is something I have seen before a couple times. And then it disappeared from the market. And then another one popped up and I snagged it. This is going to be in that space theme that I've talked about before. One of my subcategories that I'm focused on with candy is the space theme. Aliens, you know, a lot of space themed stuff has been made for children, especially in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, still today, but you know, we had Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and a bunch of, you know, stuff like that back when we were kids. Here it is. I was worried that this was going to be basically too big. Yeah, this is not the most fun size to collect. I mean, it's decent enough. So this is about a 4.5-inch candy container by Swell. And it represents a flying saucer. And I didn't actually have an example of this, but they're called alien disc. And so basically kids bought this to fly them with their hand like a frisbee. But it came with candy. Now I love the alien mascot. Looks really cool. Great colors. Yeah, super happy to have it. I do wonder what colors the discs come in. There's probably other colors of disc. I want to say this was the best one. It has to be. It's neon red. Hard to beat that. Inside we see that candy that's in the shape of flying saucers as well. There's no branding. Actually, I'm going to have to eat my words. Yes, there is. The packet of candy inside this says alien disc candy, don't it? And it says Swell on the... So that's really cool. It's almost like I got 2 items in one. Wow. So that's nice. So let's get in here and look at this Amurol, this massive lot. I'm going to move this stuff. There are some extremely rare Amurols in here, and there's also some classic ones, okay? Now, I did have most of this stuff already. So I really bought this to be completely transparent to put in my store. Amurol is it's always been one of the hottest parts of novelty candy for good reason. And you'll see it. This box really shows off a lot of why Amurol is so beloved by people even today. And there's some stuff that's not Amurol because the first thing is from Leaf. So, but most of it's from Amurol. Okay, I'm gonna actually have to move this over a little bit. So I think what I'll do, let me put the phone down, and I'm gonna tilt the box and then pull things out. I think. Give me 1 second. I gotta prop this thing up. Shit. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to start this thing. This is 8 pounds of vintage candy in here, guys. Sealed. Everything's fucking sealed. Everything is mint sealed too. Don't want to jinx it, but I begged her to wrap it tightly. Okay, here we go. Okay, first thing out of the gate is a 1994 Leaf Reuse It. This represents a recycling bin. You might remember in the mid-90s the recycling the fad or whatever, where they were pushing people to recycle, and they made bins like this, recycle bins. So Leaf, the brand who has been around since I think the 40s or something, got with Rain Blow. You might know them from making gumballs. They did a crossover piece, and they called it Reuse It Candy. Next up, this is kind of cool. We're getting these out of the way because this is just classic Amurol. So it's kind of cool they put the stuff that's not Amurol. Yeah, that's not Amurol. Comes with some pube hairs, by the way. Yeah, so that's kind of cool how that worked out. Okay, very good. All right. So I'm geeking out a little bit. Next up is a bag of gold bubble gum. This was made to be sort of like Topps Gold Rush. You might remember that from the 70s and 80s and 90s. The dates on these is late 90s. I believe it's made by Confections. Okay. Next up is a nice little piece. Has some pube hairs on it, or dog hairs. I have to get my scissors out for this. This is going to be an alien candy. I believe, without looking, I believe these were made in Canada. So that's interesting. Of course, I could be mixing this up with another one. Guys, there is just hair all over this. Not mine. I don't have black hair. There's no label. I do have these in the collection. So, yeah, I can't read it. These were, I know, these were distributed out of Canada, but very cool. This is actually, I think, the best one of the four. There's 4 of these, in my opinion, because it's the purple one. These came with different colors, so, yeah, great. It's wobbly, so I'm going to have to modify this somehow. But anyway, pretty cool to have. All right, let's get to the goodies. Don't know where to start. You know what? There's actually some more stuff that's not quite Amurol. Let me just grab some stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. All right, this will get us started. Okay, first things out of the gate, out of the main gate, is a tape sparklers. These were released in the mid-90s. I did not have this. I don't remember a metallic tape sparklers with metallic. That's really cool. These were made to go along with bubble tape, but these are made by the same company. This is just sort of their, something they released on the side, but very cool. It's got a mascot I've never seen before, too. Look at him. Very cool. You might remember those. Yeah, and so this is an Amurol. This is made by Leaf. It's another one of those Rain Blow crossovers, mid-90s. Yeah, Leaf had some deal worked out with Rainbow, and so they did some pieces together. Very cool. Yeah, I have all these already. There's, I believe, only 3 color types, though, as opposed to 4. This one, I can't remember if I had. I have a whole box of these, but I don't think I had a sealed unit. But this is Bubble Valentine's. It's the same size, basically, as a Nerds box, for reference. Let's see if we get some information off of it. Yeah, 1998 Amurol Confections. Naperville, Illinois, right? All right. Yeah, here we go. These are amazing. So these are going to be some bubble beepers by Amurol in colors to die for. This is a sealed set for life variant bubble beeper that I did not have. That's really cool. Yeah, that's actually in, that's not a sticker. That's in the, yeah, that's printed on. Next up is a super rare glow-in-the-dark bubble beeper in trans pinkish color. Let's keep those out. We'll have to reference those here in a minute. And let's start getting organized here. I'm going to put the non-Amurol over here in the corner. Here we go. All right. And I'm going to set this phone down, guys, so it's not shaking constantly. So there's a bunch of bubble beeper in here. I think I'll just pick those out first. Let's do that. All right, here we go. So this is just going to be a run of bubble beeper. There's a ton of value here. I typically sell the glow-in-the-darks for over $100 a piece. Something like this, even though I wouldn't sell this one, because I don't think I have the set for life variant, is in the 75 range. Just to give you kind of a reference to value. I'm just going to rip this. So here we have another one of these glow-in-the-darks. It's another peach. We can compare them. Yeah, it's going to be a double. So that's cool. That'll give me something to sell. Yeah, I really bought this for a dealer lot. Okay, here's going to be another one of these trans. Oh, this is a different color. Yeah, that's a different color. So one's neon red, one's neon trans orange. Okay. This video is going to be a little long. We're just honestly just getting started, so be patient. Next up is another one of these. Has a pinkish tone to it. Let's just make sure. Yeah, seems to be in line with the other ones. It's a little lighter though. Okay. Next up is a classic glow-in-the-dark looking one in that greenish color. Super cool. Yeah, these glow-in-the-darks are very hard to find. Very hard to find. It was a special release. Here's another greenish tone one. All of these are mint sealed. And this is going to be a classic one in trans green. Let's see if it has any. Yeah, it has the promotion for Set for Life, which I believe dates it to directly 1995. That would go on this side with these. All right. All right, next up, looks like we got, let's just do these next. These are going to be the cell phones. These are Amurol cell phones. So let me talk about why I'm getting these open. Let me talk about why these are so popular. Okay, if you're a kid of the 90s, or the 80s, but particularly the 90s, this was the candy novelty on the shelves at that time. These all pretty much date to the early to mid 90s. Notice they're kind of a larger size novelty. Us that grew up in the 80s, let me grab one. Us that grew up in the 80s had candy this size. But notice in the 90s, along with so much other stuff, they made everything super size. That's just the gluttony of America. Anyway, the first thing out of the gate is a minty, fucking minty cell phone candy in mint condition. Sometimes these are broken off. This is going to be the other two variants. The other two neon variants. Now there is another variant, and it's opaque black. Opaque black is the most common one to find. The neons are a little more rare to find. So guys, everything out of this box is so pristine. That's what really attracted me too, is just the quality. There is no dust. I guess these have been in storage for the past 30 years. And just to see all these together in one money shot is pretty damn satisfying. And next to all this other, this neon is to die for. Okay, so this is going to be a leaf, actually. And it's also, you guessed it, a rainbow crossover from Leaf. These all date directly to 1994. So this would go over here with these other Leaf. But see, these were on shelves at the time that these were on shelves. This is an amazing piece right here. It's often overlooked, but super amazing thing coming out of the gate here. I want to see if this is dated before I start talking too. But anyway, this is a candy pager. It has a play function where, well, back in the day it would make sounds. This is made by Berserk Candy Works, 1994. This was made in reaction to Amurol's Bubble Beeper. Notice they made theirs a little bigger. They added a little bit more color. They've added a play function to rival Amurol. But these are very hard to find. Notice they come with Smarties. Vintage Smarties. All right. Next thing is going to be some Amurol. All right, that was a close one. This is Paint Box Bubblegum with Set for Life promotion variant. This is going to date it right at the mid-90s. So clean. A lot of times this package will have yellowing. Look how... It's like, I feel like I'm the first one to ever touch it. I know that's not true, but like everything is so pristine. It's very satisfying to touch. Next up is a classic. Yeah, another thing is, look how fresh the gum and everything is in these. These are almost always melted. Now, they are a little stuck together, but you're talking 30 years ago. This is Gum Computer or Gum Pooter. Now, these were made in all different types. This one actually, strangely, is missing its back label. But I'm not mad for some reason. God, I want to say this is a different design than I've seen. What's different about this? Who collects candy on here? What? There's something. Is this? Was this something they added later? Wow. I want to say this is a different Gum Computer than I had, so I'm gonna have to check that out. But pretty cool. It does have a play function where you push buttons and it's like a vending machine. It'll give you which row you picked. Very cool. Damn. Guys, this is how much we have left. Actually, let me get this out. Let me get these out because, guys, there's some shit right here. This is something let's get out of the way. This actually might be the worst thing in the whole box. All right, so this is a Digimon Gum Buddy, mid-90s. Everything's dating to 1994 to 1996 so far. It's probably going to stay that way. But yeah, this is really nice. I don't know that I had this one, but you might remember Digimon. Yeah. Okay. Not my sort of thing there. Not my cup of tea, as they say. Next up is another one I kind of want to get out of the way. Now, this one is a pretty obscure candy novelty. I don't think I had this one. Not that I've ever been dying to own it. It's yet another... Yeah, I definitely did not have this one. This is yet again another cell phone novelty. They have made just scores of them. I don't know how many. I mean, if I don't know, no one knows, to be honest. But yeah, I have half of a bin full of just different cell phone candy novelties. They have made so many over the years. This is yet another one. I want to say, though, this dates to the year 2000. Yeah, so this might be the latest thing in the whole box. Yeah, Crazy Planet, I want to say they started their company in the year 2000. That's kind of an oddball. It doesn't even really fit with this other stuff either. Let's go ahead and get these next. Now, these are made by a different company as well. This is made by Zeeb Enterprises out of Fort Worth, Texas. They were a big player in the 90s with candy novelty. I keep saying candy novelty, but just so you know, to be clear, these are bubblegum companies, okay? But in our category, we don't call these bubblegum novelties. We just call them all candy novelties. But anyway, this is their bubblegum credit card parody line that they made. Basically, this is a real, not a real, but like it's a credit card, like a plastic credit card. Behind it are the bubblegum credit cards. Now, if you pull this out, they have writing on the bubblegum slabs as well. It's very minimal. Now, I always date these to 1997. That's mainly because I saw these in 1997 originally, but they could be a little bit older. Well, actually, it says 1997. These are going to be some more. There are going to be some other variants of bubblegum credit cards. This happens all the time. Yeah, the seal on these blisters are ridiculous. In fact, usually this is how they come. Usually they're always detached. But anyway, you get to see what they look like. Yeah, it just came with a little credit card. God, so mint. But this is Discotheque, Staying Alive. Here's another one, Discotheque. This one is peeling off here, but attached there, so that's good. These are often also melted. The reason is because the bubble gum is touching this wall of the blister, and so often when you get these, this rectangle right here is candy stained, basically bubblegum stained. Oh, this one is Blaster Charge. I don't think I have the whole set. I've never tried to track these down. They're a little suspect, a little sus to collect because of how susceptible they are to staining themselves. So I've never tried to track them all down. So I'm not even sure how many makes up the whole set. It's definitely over 4 though. So usually when it's over 4, that means there's 6 or 8 or 12 or 10. Let's get these out next. So this is going to be the Amurol ouch tins. I'm just going to get them all out. All 4. There's 4 of them. Oh, that one busted open. That's good though. We can see what they look like inside. Yeah, these seals do that all the time. There is some gnarly fucking hair attached to this. Don't want to pull off any of those graphics. God, look how pristine these are. That's what's so special about this particular collection, is they're just untouched, man. So anyway, these are the ouch. I'll put the phone down. Let's try to calm down here. Get these side by side. This looks to be a double, so we can put that in front. And then now they're completely out of order. Okay, this is the order. Let's get the damn hairs out of the way. Damn, dude. This is what they this is what they looked like when they first started. I want to say the year was 1991 when these first came out. This is probably a mid-90s. Yeah, I mean, it is a mid-90s. Look, it has that on there. Variant. And this is what it looks like inside. They're supposed to look like Band-Aids. So very, very cool. This one might have been tampered with. Let me see. Okay, they're all there. They're all there. Okay. This is what they look like. This is how they changed it next. They made these 3 flavor packs. Very cool. And then later down the road, they made the spots. You know how some Band-Aids are just circle Band-Aids? And so they made that variant. Very cool. Okay, then the last thing we have looks like to be some bubble jugs. God, dude, I mean, can y'all see the hair? It's like Chewbacca put this box together, packaged this. All right, so these are going to be the Amurol bubble jugs. Highly collectible. These came in other colors and flavors, but these are all the original, original ones, classic ones. Very nice. God, they're just, I just can't express how clean these are. Goodness gracious. And the smell coming out of this box is just incredible too. It smells like just fresh bubble gum. All right, so that's a lot. If you made it through the whole video, congratulations. So what happened is I bought a dealer lot. Basically a lot that has a bunch of doubles and stuff. But these rarely come up. If I can't remember the last one that came up. That's an actual mint dealer lot like this. So anyway, had to have it. Had all this stuff in there. Had the credit cards. Don't forget about the bubble tape offshoots or whatever. All the leaf stuff and the miscellaneous. Before we open that, we also opened a mid-90s Now and Later. I'm sorry, mid-80s Now and Later apple. That is also case fresh. Ridiculously fresh. This one's nothing to scoff at either. It's a mid-80s swell alien disc candy. A lot of neon today, yeah? Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I have another lot sitting beside me over here, but I'm out of it. I'm going to have to just save it for another day. All right, and I hope you enjoyed that. How could you not? And Russ Van out. One final flyover. We've all died, and our soul is floating over the candy heaven. Rest in peace.